tell you about Legend Seeker and how you can support its development while getting some awesome perks. By subscribing to our Legendary tier on YouTube or becoming a paid member on our Discord or Patreon, you'll get early access to all Legend Seeker lore and mechanics. This means you'll be among the first to dive into the world of Legend Seeker and give direct feedback that will help shape the game. But that's not all. Supporters will also be the first to playtest the system and will get exclusive invites to private streams where we discuss the game in detail. Your input will play a huge role in making Legend Seeker the best that it can be. Now, for those of you who love watching our tabletop role-playing game shows, supporting Legend Seeker comes with some fun bonuses for the casts. Here's how it works. If you are a Copper or Common member on Discord or Patreon, you can give a $20 benefit to a player of your choice. Silver and Uncommon members can give 2 benefits to 2 players of your choice. If you go the YouTube route, you can give a $50 benefit to a player of your choice. And for the ultimate support, Gold and Mythic members on Discord and Patreon give a $20 benefit to 3 players of your choice. You can choose from all casts across Moonskull. Every bit of support goes directly towards making Legend Seeker a reality. It helps fund the art, writing, editing, and eventual publishing of the game. So, if you want to be a part of this journey and support our shows, join our Legendary tier on YouTube or become a member on Discord or Patreon. We couldn't do it without you, and we're excited to build Legend Seeker together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the game.
All right, I think I have my sound up all the way. Let's see. Hi, I'm Frost. I'm doing wow, I'm making a mess here. Everything is all like gross because there was a storm coming through and then it got hot and it's still storming, but every time I take something out of the refrigerator, it's just sweating. So I just got water all over my keyboard. Anyway, I'm Frost and I'm wiping up condensation. I am actually working on lore for the Legend Seeker RPG, and that is where we find ourselves today. So, woo! Make sure that I got everything set where I wanted it. So, I am working on a few different things. I write when we're not on stream and all that. I just make notes and do other stuff. And one of the things I'll be doing today is I'm going to reveal something. It's a work in progress, but it's a new god that nobody outside of Moss and Erudai knows about. So you guys get to hear it here first. Third, fourth, something like that. Hello, Shadow Warden. We're just here having fun with whatever, Tuesday? We'll go Tuesday. I have raspberry tea, which it's nice and cold. It has a little bit of ice in it, actually. It's got so cold. Lots of caffeine. I have a Coke that says dude on it for more caffeine. And I have a nice cup of steaming hot coffee. I don't know if you can see the steam rising up off it. No, maybe. With some hot sauce in it because I need caffeine. And I am caffeinating it up. Oops. Where did I do that? Okay, there we go. Do that and hit that. All right, so I am going to hit a button here, and I'm going to do something real quick like. So, would you guys like me to I'll go through the description and the story and the idea of this god first. It involves a few different things, but let me get that pulled up so I have it in front of me. It's not a novel yet. It's shorter. It's shorter. Oh boy, no, it's not Mort. No. Mort is not a god. Mort is lower than a god. Mort is lower than most people. Mort shall not be talked about. Hello, fantastic sarcastic. How you doing? So, in the world of Erudia, not all of the gods that are currently gods were always gods. The four were created at the beginning, and they created various other gods. But then, as time went on, a few of the creations they had made had impressed them so much that they allowed them to undergo the trial to achieve godhood, apotheosis. So they have a place that they go. They undergo trials that aren't really spoken about. They get past the guardians, and if they survive and succeed and are judged worthy, they can join the pantheon. It's something that is incredibly rare. It's basically the way I'm looking at it. It is a death sentence. Either you become a god or you are erased from existence. And a couple of people have made it through. They established these trials because in the past, a couple of other gods were made who were mistakes. They were bad choices. There is a god of chaos out there. And this god we're going to be talking about today was created basically because Grix was doing Grix things. This is before the God Killer War. Go pick up some stuff, Kaio. I'm doing all right. I've got a migraine right now, but other than that, I'm good. I'm just trying to get rid of it with lots of caffeine. So, the thing is, oh, that's interesting. The way Grix does stuff usually is he tries something, and he tries to take shortcuts, thinks he's better than he is, and tries to accomplish things that are generally out of his scope, because he is not one of the original greater gods, and as much as he thinks he's powerful, he's not all powerful. So what he did was get 3 of his children, scions of his, of the monstrous races, goblins, bugbears, and gnolls, to the place where the trial was going to happen to try and get them through it using trickery and deceit and his godly domain powers to get them past some of the more difficult things that he knew they wouldn't survive, to reach the end and become gods so he would have allies. So, how this went down was not exactly how he expected. Yeah, migraine life, woo! Yeah, they're not fun, Sassy Witch. Nope. And hello. So I'm gonna read this to you. It's not incredibly long. I've pared it down from a bunch of gobbledygook that I had in here, but we'll go through it here. So, 3 of Grix's greatest disciples, monstrous scions of his misguided creative efforts, were blessed with the gift of divinity, but also cursed by the greater gods of the pantheon for the duplicitous methods they and their sponsor used to help them subvert the trials of apotheosis. Using his divine abilities to distract and cloud the mind of Incardini, Incardini is the scion of Mount Ceres itself. So she is an elemental beyond the comprehension of what most people think an elemental is. She is this mountain. She is the spirit of this mountain. She is the physical manifestation, the spiritual manifestation of this mountain and the crystal geode caves and everything within where the fountainhead is for godhood apotheosis. And so you have to be pretty good, pretty clever, pretty powerful to come up against her in this trial, to withstand everything that she throws at you and the cradle throws at you. So, he used his divine abilities to distract and cloud the mind of Incarnai, the sign of Mount Ceres itself. He allowed his followers to bypass the portions of the trials which he knew they couldn't otherwise survive. As a result, all three of them arrived at the cradle of the gods at the same time. Intact, none of them having experienced the spiritual cleansing and shriving fires that are the death of most of the seekers of apotheosis. Orin, if you remember, is the god of knowledge, and pretty much the chief of the gods, so the first of the four. Outraged, he decreed that the three should be destroyed. Vulcan, the god of creativity and innovation, he agreed. Oriel, Orin's consort and wife, felt pity. She pitied the three, the children of Grix, because not only were they monsters, but she just, she's the goddess of love and beauty. She's got a kind heart. And so she abstained from passing judgment on them. Erendor, the god of nature and the wilds, he felt that while he believed they had cheated, he felt they had cheated, he didn't know they had cheated, but he felt they had cheated because they all three showed up at the same time, that they had indeed still set foot in the cradle and might deserve the prize. So they started bickering amongst themselves, the rest of the gods presenting cases back and forth. And Davila, the goddess of seduction and hedonism and revenge, who we all know and love, who wants to be on Grix's side, wants Grix to notice her, wants Grix to choose her instead of Senna, spoke out on behalf of Grix's scions, urging the four to look at it in the terms of how the laws were actually written, the actual letter of the law, not the spirit of the law, and not in terms of their own prejudices. Hello, this eccentric. Over on Kick. So, the other gods and goddesses argued over this for a length of time before Orin made the pronouncement that the trio indeed would be granted apotheosis, but that since they arrived together and seemed to be so keenly of one mind, they should forever also be of one body. Before any protests could take root, Grix didn't get to say anything. No one got to say anything. They were granted the gift they cheated to win, though not in the way they had imagined. Standing before the greater gods was now a three-headed bestial form, anger and betrayal in three sets of eyes, fear in one heart that they now shared, immortality and eternity lay before them in this powerful singular form that was now guided by three diverse sets of thoughts, three competing wills, and three voracious mouths. Enraged, Grix fled, leaving the sight of what he saw as a mockery of his power, leaving his transformed scion to its new existence alone. So he didn't get the ally he wanted. It got twisted, and who knows, now it may actually want to turn against him because he abandoned it. And so, Galu is now his name. Galu the Insatiable was born, who would also become known as the Lord of Reavers during the ensuing God-Killer War. Afterwards, forced into exile in his own lacunae in the aftermath, just as the other gods willingly went to theirs, he was forced out of the world of people and the godlands into his lacunae, always hungering and driving his people to expand, to plunder and test the will of the beloved of the other gods. Basically, a little bit of Davila in him, a lot of revenge, voraciousness, desire for plunder, testing themselves, all the monstrous bits and pieces of the three different types of creatures he was made from. So, I was playing around with some AI. All right, I just got some tea-beard. Got some tea in my beard there. So I did some AI what's in here. And so I came up with a couple different pictures. So here's one. This is one idea of him looking a little more like, rah, I've got the, the three heads. One of them, I kind of ended up going sort of bat-like. A little weird. So I wasn't sure I liked that one. Let's see. Let's get to the other ones here. I made another version. I made another version that ended up being all bat heads, which was cool looking, but didn't really work. That was this one. Let me put that one up here once. That was that one. It's like, he's cool looking. He's just got 3 big bat heads. You know. The next one, I did a version that was a little more fiery, a little more imposing, a little bit better, I think, looking. So there he is, looking a little creepier. And the reason he has this girdle and this flaming sword, it will be explained later. These were gifts from some of the other gods. Not exactly gifts, it turns out. They were double-edged, let's put it that way. The sword was from Zirath, and the girdle was from Vulcan. And there's a few other various things that were bestowed upon them as gifts, but we'll go into all that stuff, you know, in the book later. But then I made this version, and yes, this one looks a little more like Beardo with the legs. So don't judge him too harshly. He missed some leg days in this version. So that one has some cool little legs and a tail, but yeah, he missed a couple thousand leg days there. And I made another version with thicker legs, and he ended up looking just like a complete doofus, and I'm not even gonna put that one up there. But the idea is that he's supposed to be a goblin head, a gnoll head, and a bugbear head. There's not an orc in there. Currently, that's the thinking. So he embodies a lot of the virtues of those 3, but they're constantly at war because, like I said, 3 heads controlling 1 body, 1 mind, 3 mouths, all needing to be fed. They're a voracious creature. Uh-oh. Hear me out. Kiku told the guy he had to do a silly thing to perfection. Earn enlightenment through them. Now their acolytes Kiku worship by silly thing to try and reach enlightenment. So there are a whole bunch of informational bits and pieces that there'll be a little bit more stuff on Kika too, because her disciples and her paladins and the people that follow her do some entertaining things to try and win her favor and seek enlightenment and do things. And in fact, I think you were here when I was working on Göteborg, the city in Pryland. My brain was shutting down there. There is, even though most people can't quite figure out why it has such a place of prominence, there is an ancient Agrian temple of Kika on the mount up where the actual palace and everything is, the main hall of Göteborg. No other gods have anything that mighty up there, and it's there. There's always been a priestess, assigned, and currently the priestess is the daughter of the ruling family. So they have a special relationship with her, but not everybody knows why. They seem pretty dour and serious, but there's a reason that's there. It's Chrysanthia. She gives me headaches. I didn't see that before. Fantastic. So, like I said, whoops, somehow I hit print screen. I was going to take a shot here. 3 heads, 1 stomach. But that's where that belt comes in. That's why he's called the Insatiable, because it gives him power. It gives him protection, because Vulcan is, creativity and innovation. It gives him powers. It gives him abilities. The downside is it makes him ravenous. So he's rarely sated, which is very mean. It's not like he can't be sated, but he is called the Insatiable, Galu the Insatiable, for a reason. And Zirath, the god of fire and war, he's the one who gave him the flaming sword. But the problem is, yes, it's very powerful. It's amazing. It's, you know, a weapon of a god, but he could never put it down. Ever. And it's ever burning. So it is kind of a painful punishment because they're like, oh, you want to be a god? Oh, here you go. Enjoy eternity. So he feels, it feels, all three of them feel very betrayed by Grix, the other gods. They're treated as a lesser god. They're angry. And that's why they've sent their followers out to, you know, help, because the belt, in a way, is a double-edged sword. I'm trying to figure out all the specifics because not only does it protect him, it gives him a connection to his followers, but it also makes him insatiable. When they do things, it helps sate him. So if they feast and eat, and if they plunder and they wander and they conquer, it helps sate his hunger and his wanderlust and his bloodlust. And yeah, so he's a somewhat tortured, but also just monstrous lesser god. Three heads, one tummy is a scary thought with an upset tummy. Oh man, yeah. Can you imagine them yelling at each other? And they can't kill each other. They can't cut each other's head off because, well, they're immortal. Yay! Welcome to eternity, champ. So that is one of the things I've been working on. I've also been working on some of the stuff. I still have it listed as a crucible here, but it's, I think Ruda had it called the Hallowed Hall. I was calling it the Fountainhead. I called it the God's Well at one point, and I'll probably have it named numerous things. And I had a third one. Where did I put it? I don't remember where I put that note. Well, I can't find it right now. Whatever. It's somewhere around. So that is something brand new. That is just for you guys. Nobody else has heard any of that about him before. And if you have thoughts, if you have more thoughts on the three-headed monster god and anything else you think should be added, subtracted, a little more bits of lore or myth or anything, feel free to throw them in the chat here. If you have comments afterwards, after the stream, if you think of something and you're like, oh, you know, it'd be cool. That would be cool. Throw them in there. All right, so we got through that. Got some info. And he is now gone from the world like everyone else. All the other gods, they're in their lacunae. They're distant from their people and their followers. They do still influence. They still have shrines. I think, you know, I think I'm gonna write down a couple things for his shrines. I think, let's make a note here. So his shrines said to only be set up by, and set up by shamans and warlords of the goblinoid tribes. Primitive affairs, often in the semblance of an altar or an offering bowl. Surrounded by flames of one sort or another, torches, such. Children? Fantastic likes to eat people. Got it. Actual cannibal, the fantastic sarcastic. The note I have right now, one, where is it here? One has oh, I didn't assign these to heads. Okay, one has an appetite for plunder. One has an appetite for flesh of any sort, you know, the death of people. And the third one has a taste for revenge. So I went more poetic with them. Okay, I made a note about this shrine here. Right. So if we take this here, okay. I don't need to actually well, wait, put it there. So there we go. So this gives me a good thought for the shrines. Instead of an offering bowl, 3 offering bowls surrounded by flames, one sort of another. How would you... I may have gone too poetic. How would you... How would you sacrifice something for revenge? I guess it would be something you stole or took or exacted. We'll say tokens of revenge. They each feed a different aspect of Galu. Let's say the rabbit's god. There we go. Yeah. So the appetite for flesh, Darth Dave, could be either or both. Because remember that Davila spoke up. If you weren't here for the beginning part of it, Dave, Davila spoke up for this creature, and instilled some of her gift was like basically the desire for revenge. And her revenge isn't always physical. It could be mental. It could be many different ways. But he looks like this, Dave. Look at his little legs. Look at his little legs. Here, let me switch it to the other version. He looks similar to this, but he'll have the digitigrade. Digitigrade? Is that how you pronounce it? Whatever. He'll have the legs that bend like that, and it'll be a little more muscular. Cute little doggy. Yeah, for these guys, they love plundering, and if they find somebody, you know, that they can send their minions after and destroy what's most important to them or most critical to their existence, they'll do it. Because they're monsters. A bear in the apartment? I don't get it. Let's see. What else could I put down about his shrines? Let's see. These edifices aren't tolerated in the more civilized region of the Godlands. Be found. Be found near Goblin, Bugbear, and Knoll. As a raid campaign. With the oldest permanent shrines to. Where would we want to put the like a permanent shrine to him? I was going to say somewhere up near Mordecai's throne would be interesting. Kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Let's see. We could have it in the hills here, but I kind of think maybe it should be somewhere in the Whitewood. Because that could work out. The thing is, the Whitewood is old, but it used to be a Fey place. So maybe it would need to be up in the mountains here. Trying to think if there's a good place else where we would put it. Well, it'd be interesting to have it down here, but black licorice, the worst candy. What kind of candy does the monster god like? Flesh. It's all flesh. Yes, Judson. Goat legs. Yeah, whatever. It's plantigrade, digitigrade, and I can't remember what the third type is, where they walk on their hoof, whatever. Equigrade? No, is that right? Something? It's basically what cows and horses do, I think. I think it's digitigrade, plantigrade, and equigrade, or something like that. I could look it up, but that would require me to actually, go click on a button and do things over here. Black licorice. I don't know. I like black licorice. But I like hot sauce in my coffee too, so you can't stop me. Okay, a dog that likes to hump. You're like, what? No, Dave, no. That's not how that works. Hmm. I'm trying to think. Could be in the hills up above the caustic strand, but that's Hillmouth. But there are goblins and things everywhere in this mountains range. So there could be one in the mountains above Seabreak Haven in the Whispering Woods. Maybe we'll do that. Let's do that. Okay, we'll say it's one of the oldest permanent shrines to Ukalu is in the mountains above Seabreak Haven, on the site of the camp where the original goblin I hesitate to call him a champion. Well, not really a Myrmidon. I had a good word for it earlier that I used. What did I use? What did I use? I did call them scions, but I know there was another one. All right, his name has been forgotten. I don't know if that makes sense now that I think about it. I'm going through a couple different storylines in my head here, so I'm trying to tie it back into another story that I have off to the side. But if I do that, is that going to take that character out of play for the rest of that story? I was trying to tie it to another character I had kind of roughed in, but yeah, I think I'm gonna skip that for the moment. I'm not gonna say that. Um All right. His name has been forgotten, but the goblins all along the coast still leave the misshapen god offerings in order to win his favor. Okay. Because there are goblins all along this coast out here in these caves, and they're also up in the mountain. This is the original place where his people's camp was all that time ago. Okay, there we go. Of course Frost likes black licorice. Of course I do. I was the only one on Gulagrade. Why did I think it was Equigrade? Oh, I guess because it's got a G and a U. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You put it in the Legend Seeker area. There's a Legend Seeker area? Oh wait, yes there is. Ba, 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 ba. I don't I don't see it. I like black licorice. I like black jelly beans. I don't like the black licorice candy that tastes like roofing tar. That's just, ugh. I don't get that. Some people love that, so I don't know why. I only put the image of the skeletal structure, not the names. Got it. Surf goblins. Well, they're in caves along the coast. How about that? If that makes sense to you. Because this area was inundated and destroyed, and the coast is, 1,000 years. Uh, it's just eroded and fragmented and fallen away, revealing all kinds of caves that, well, old lava tubes and caves and whatnot and tunnels that the goblins had made. but now they live along that coast near the salt marshes where people don't really go as much, and just occasionally harry travelers and fish and do whatever else they can to make a nuisance of themselves. Like goblins do. Surf goblins. Well, they do have little goblin coracles, little goblin boats. Somebody could be pulling somebody on a plank behind them. Maybe. Yes. All right, leave that off. Sorry, I had to grab something before I forgot where it was at. Okay. So we got the shrines. We have his shrine. Um, I'll ask. I put this in the Legend Seeker area, but I'm gonna ask Rudai if there's a specific god for the orcs, or if this guy is the god of the orcs as well, even though he's not part orc. Or yeah, we'll figure that out. There's still a little bit of logistics to figure out, especially this and some of the other lesser gods that have gone through apotheosis and actually become, well, gods. Nya is one of them. He used to be a human, but he went through apotheosis and he's a god. Let's see. Hey, by the way, that little thing I put in my yard, the little tent with the raised floor that's kind of like a little trampoline for the cats. Since it's been raining heavily all day, they're just sacked out in it because they can fit like 3 or 4 of them just like flopped and laying there. Like 3 of them were just loafed in there enjoying it. And later on, 3 of them were like sacked out, just like yay, they're loving it now because they can just lay there in the rain, and the way the rain comes through, they don't actually get hit with a single drop, and they can just enjoy it. So I'm happy about that. And it's not on the ground, so they don't have to worry about getting wet. Excuse me. All right, let's see what else we have about this guy. I guess I could write down some more of the stuff about the girdle. Yeah, that will work. Okay. Sorry, I'm thinking. That's how I think. I look off and I'm looking at words, seeing words being typed, and how would I put that? I think I know that word. Let me see what that is. Oh, is it? Yeah, there we go. Oops. There we go. At least they're enjoying it. Exactly. Is Orcus able to be used? He was a Roman god, so maybe. God of death. I don't know. Demon Prince in 5e, so might be able to make him an actual god and get away with it. I suppose that's a possibility. I don't know. A good question. Let's see. Gifted to Ukaloos, he was born. The girdle was made by Vulcan as a bulwark to help protect the young god from himself. Knowing that the three heads would war, makes them unable to harm one another and maintain balance. The cost of a voracious and unending appetite. Called it the Audacious Girdle. Why not? I gotta look up. Did Frost just give a compliment by saying good question? I don't like it. Ha ha, you should be worried. I've reported you to the authorities. Crescent! Get him! There's himself. Oops, somehow I hit the caps lock. Forged by Xereth himself, this blade emits. Shouldn't say emits. Unquenchable fire. Most mortal constructs. The how it constantly burned the hand that wields it. Okay, there we go. That was why that worked that way. Oh shoot, I just realized something. Sorry, this just made me remember something that I had to check on with one of my guys at work. Okay. Oh, it did. Okay, all right. Just a second. I need to answer this quick work message. Be right back. Got it. There we go. Breaks up the cuffs and the band hammer. I didn't do nothing yet. Wait, she has cuffs and a band hammer? Oh man, you guys are screwed. All right. Forged by Zero to Blade is reads an unquenchable fire and can use for most mortal constructs, but it also is unbearably hot and constantly burn the hands that wield it. The hand that wields it. Indeed, it has melded itself to its godly flesh and can never be dropped. Okay. Girdle. All right. Wow, fantastic. Okay, then. One second. Just reminded me of something. Bruh. Also used playing Minecraft. This is why. Fantastic. When you have keys, see, jingle, 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 I'm jingling keys. You have one of these on your keychain. I'm just saying, keep one close. Always. I remember playing Minecraft with my friend's kid when she was still, man, she's probably like 10 or 11 at that point. Maybe 12. I don't know. She was totally into it. We just run around and have adventures. She just run off and just go obliterate herself over and over. Just be like, what's over here? But we were riding around trying to save these horses. We're like, oh, we got the horses. We got the horses. Out in the, I don't remember how it happened, and I could be wrong about how this actually occurs in Minecraft because it's been a while. I had a horse out there, and it was raining. I think it was my horse. It got hit by lightning, and it got turned into like a skeletal horse, or something happened and it turned into a skeletal horse, and we were just like, what? And we were just astounded, and it was the coolest thing. It was so fun. Read those for reasons. Keep one on the nightstand for a reason. Wait, Crescent, what's the what? The what is the, is that the Minecraft horse? Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Is that, let me... I'm trying to remember how it happened. Let's see. Skeleton horse. Minecraft. Ah. All right. Good gosh. Oh, yeah. It sometimes spawned when lightning strikes. Oh, that's right. Oh, okay. So I guess it wasn't my horse gotten hidden. Oh wait, no, that one is. No, I guess it. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess that was what happened. I thought it was my horse that got hit. I guess lightning summoned it or something. I don't know. I just looked it up, and it's like there's a whole thing about lightning a horse. There's a chance that lightning can summon a skeleton horse, and sometimes you get near it, and it's a lightning trap horse, and a second lightning strike will hit, and a skeleton will appear on the back of it with an enchanted helmet, and it will come after you. I don't know. Whatever. Regardless, it was pretty fun. I also made after a lot of trial and error, I figured out how to make a little thing that would allow a fishing rod and water and stuff to actually auto fish. So we just always have it fishing, and it would fill a chest up with stuff. That was pretty fun. I was never very good at that stuff because I didn't put enough time into it. But I did figure some things out. Okay. I wonder if I'd take its head. You know, this could be instead of a bugbear. Maybe this is an orc. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see here. I think Rudai wasn't 100% set that they had to be those races, but they had to be similar to. Okay, well, maybe I have some leeway there. Anyway, sorry, just thinking all over the place here. All right, so we've got the Wrathblade, we've got his audacious girdle, we've got his shrines, we have the basics of his story, and we have another specific shrine that's up here somewhere in these mountains above the Whispering Woods, probably up in these hills somewhere near these woods and stuff. That probably is where it is. All right. So, what do we have to do with that? We might be done there. So I may go quickly check on the cats, see how they're doing. Calvino and Charlie are almost over the sniffly stuff. They're not nearly as bad as they were. They're still snorting a little bit, snorkeling, this and that. But I keep going and checking on them all the time because, well, if I can find them. Because now that it's raining, they should be nearby. But anyway, if I step away here, do you guys want you want chair or do you want pause screen? What would you like? Or just a picture of Galoo and the chair. We'll put him back up anyway. We'll let you look at him, his beautiful little face. And I'm gonna go check. Praise the chair. All right, praise that chair. Chair. Have fun. Not too much fun. Just stepped on something that Calvino left over here. Oh, nice. He left me a piece of a plastic tie. Hey. Thanks, buddy. Go. Stop making the chair feel good. Stop praising that chair. Chair's done nothing to deserve any of it. Silly chair. Chair is supportive. Chair, do you know any funny puns? Hey, what's all the happiness for the chair there? What's this? What's all this here? Chair doesn't know any puns. Chair deserves nothing. It's a comfortable chair, though. Some of my friends don't like it, though. They have the same chair and they don't like the build or whatever. I guess I'm just easy to please when it comes to a chair. Like, chair. Oh, I'm getting texts. All right. Okay, there we go. All right. Boom. Picture of Charlie. There are no puns that are funny. Or Saint throwing up landmines. Wow, that was bad, Feline. That was bad. Ah, fantastic. That was really bad too. No! Stop! Don't make me get out, I don't know. Oh, I know what I could bring out. There. You got that one from Chrysanth. I mean, seriously, come on. That's horrifying. What else can I do here for this little guy? And yeah, if I get a little quiet at any point today, it's probably just me like going, paint spike. Or it's just me being me. Right. So you have proof? You have proof? Uh-oh. This is proof. I was looking for something that I was trying to remember along the here. Oh, couldn't send my message. Why can't I send my message? Please send my message. Okay. Let's see what happens this time. I don't know, my phone is just being a little goofy about sending messages suddenly. Reminds me, I need to get a new phone. Has anybody ever just bought a new phone through like the mail and got it to your home and then set it up yourself? I was considering doing that, but I don't want to screw it up and then have access to no cell phone for a little while. That would kind of be not fun. Wyatt, can you teach the nugget? Wow. Well then, it was nice knowing you, pal. He's going to sneak up behind you with a shovel, and you're done. And you're done. they respond to my work message already? Oh, they did. Oh, I'm not going to answer that question right now. That one can wait for tomorrow. Let's see. So, yes. Yes. So I'm trying to decide if I want to go back into a couple of these areas and hit a few more spots. Dang. I'd like to put something out here, but the stuff that I have worked up in a couple areas is not really going to help a whole lot. Ice Sculpt is there. I could go in to the other map and kind of rework. I could rework the Umbral Atoll. Order phones from the internet. If you service a SIM card, just pop it. As a SIM card, just pop it in the new one and select your service provider if it's an open phone. Yeah, there's a SIM card in this specifically for my service. I just wasn't sure if I don't remember if they do that at the stores normally, if they change, if they just call and set it up, if you have to have a separate phone set up. So I can call like on a landline while I'm doing it. I just don't know. Because the last thing I want to do is pop something out of the phone and then have no access to the phone and be like, well, that was stupid. And then have to go to the store and have somebody say, so, here's what you did wrong. So that'd be fine if they did. If they tell me I did things wrong, that's fine. Let me open something here. Sea Break Islands. The Atoll. There we go. I wanted to look at this because this is the original butt map, which I'm going to redo. So let's grab, oops, overlay this. Ooh. Hold of it? Can I not grab a hold of it? Wait, why can't I grab that? Can I not move this thing? Thought I could turn that off. Oh. Segment difference. Colors. What is this? This is the reset colors. I thought there was a way to move this thing. Color grading, cosine color. Oh, I move this. I really don't remember how to move it. Oh, I can just click on it and move it. Okay. So it doesn't give me an option to move it. I can just move it out of the way. So what we're going to do is this little island here is important, but we're going to find a better way. We're going to put it out here. And we're going to fill in this bay a little differently. So what we're going to do is I'm going to see if I can do something here. So I want to landmass polygon lasso. All right, move this here. Boop. I can move the symbols over. There we go. And then we're going to move a couple things around in here. Because we're going to fill this. We're gonna shallowfy this area, and we're gonna deepify this area and shallowfy this area. That makes sense. So we're gonna go to the water brush. We're gonna go to the purpley thing. We're going to do this. Oops, that's a little bit too much. We're going to make it very opaque, less velocitous. Let's make it less opaque. Yeah, we'll go way out there. Smooth some of this out a little bit. Well, I want it to be a little rough. I want to smooth it out a little bit afterwards. Because we're probably gonna go with a slightly different color here, but I'm just using the purple as the really deep part. Because there was an impact there at one point that is as opposed to the shallow part that actually had something else happen to it. Why is that not? Oh, I gotta specify this higher. All right, so it's got a little bit of a land bridge over here. Some of that stuff out. And we're gonna specify that. Because this area out here is not really deep water. You can sail across it and see the bottom for most of this area. And I'm going to be putting almost a little land bridge in this area here, but it falls off dramatically on the other side. Interesting. That's really not going lighter there. Guess I can make a new color here and go into the blues and go way up into here. That's way too opaque, too velocitous, Because we're gonna do this around here. Even though the land, when I put the little land bridge in here, it will help. This is gonna kind of typify the edge of it where those pebbly, sandy beach things are all over from the outside of it. Because this thing is pretty important out here. It's quite an important little structure, in fact. All right, we're going to get the landmass in here. Land. Where's the land? Just a little bit larger. Hard to make things really work on this kind of a scale because, well, it's difficult. It's difficult. This down here. Greenify this a little bit if we can. Side versus opacity. Boop. Boop, boop. It's probably not going to green it up very much because it's going to be hard to get the green to go over this. What if I go with lighter green? Maybe a lighter green is going to help. Yeah, lighter green is going to show up a little better. Do that. Oops, I don't want to hit the symbols, trees, or mountain. I just want to hit ground. This is supposed to be a rather lush little part of the island here. But now I'm going to hit the symbols. So it should lighten these guys up a little bit. All right, and then we'll go to mountains. We got to be careful with this one. Because if we hit we're going to hit the mountain if we're not careful. Mountain is not supposed to be green. Ooh, that's a little too green, isn't it? I'm gonna bring this in a little bit. Just go lightly around the edges here. Damn it. Stop hitting the mountain. Go a little more opaque. A little more green in here. Green it up. All right. Great site called YouTube. It has probably has a tutorial. You know, you're probably not wrong about that. Probably not wrong. There was a mosquito biting me. That's my first mosquito bite of the season. Great. I even have little mosquito traps out there, which must be doing their job because I should have gotten bitten a lot more than I have this season. Fun. All right, let's get the water. One of the things I just saw that I really want to do here is I want to make the water a little more blue because it feels like that blue either. Kind of want to make it look more like that kind of blue that you see. I'll fade this stuff in and out. The blue that you see around those crazy atolls and tropical islands and stuff. Fade some of this together after I get it close around the edges here. Oops, I don't want to do that. Mosquitoes. Blend some of that with other colors and stuff when we get them in here. All right, we're going to get this stuff in here. We're going to give more of a velocity. We're going to blend that stuff out on the edges so it kind of goes away and in. A little bit of a twinge of a different color in here. Hit it with some more afterwards too. Go dark on the outside edge. We'll fix the depth here with some other blue. All right, we'll go here. I kind of want to edit this color. I want to change this color. I want to make it a little bluer. And then we'll bring the opacity way down. A little weird with the blue. Kind of don't like that color still. Bring to that realm of blue. Those two should marry a little more off, a little more fluidly. That should feel better. And we can deepifying the waters out here. On a shelf that drops off like right here. It's like extra deep. Cool. There, make it a little larger, bring the velocity and the opacity down. Blend this around. Basically, it's going to replace this weird purple color I was playing around with before. And eventually all this other stuff will be. The other things may actually not even end up existing, but they're cool island shapes that I'll use in other parts of the world. Now that I know I can grab the islands for little pieces and move them around pretty easily. They'll work out pretty well. Totally sketchy, like an artist sketchy. I'm just gonna put that in there. Wow. I don't get the blue thing, but you know, we'll go with it. I'm guessing that's a song. But I'm pretty bad at pop culture, dude. Just saying. Yeah, because I had created this entire archipelago out here. Or archipelago, however you pronounce it. My brain's not working today, so all my words are wrong. No, maybe not all. Just lots of them. Anyway, the Umbral Atoll is this part. I think I want to deepify this water here even a little more. Get some deep darkness. There. A little bit. Give the impression of the depth that we're looking for. I think I'm also going to put some depth over here too. A little bit more. Hide that, whatever it is. Depth in this little cove here. Kind of like the idea of these having a little bit of a fall off. And I'm sorry that today is a little less writing, a little more map making, because this is actually making my head feel a little less pained. That's nice. Soften that up a little bit. That up a little bit. A little bit of that blue-green in there, but not completely allow it all. I kind of want the blue-green to feel like it's in the sheltered harbor a little more than everything else. There you go. There are island chains where the water doesn't get really deep between the islands. Yep, definitely. Yeah, they suck. Yeah, that's why I have the like the other archipelago and the other bits and pieces and stuff. You know, there's really like the water is really shallow between them. Like I said, you can see between them. I did a deep dive. I just realized what I was saying on archipelagos and island chains and their structure and formation and how they work along the tectonic plates and all this stuff. And played around with this one as an idea of like, because there are single atolls, there are massive atolls that used to be part of like large structures, and then caved in or had volcanic events and they got sheared away. It's yeah, there's a lot of stuff involved. Pretty fun. That's why I have the shallow stuff, like that way, you know, people who are here, they can go boop, boop, boop. But this part here is the part that's going to be mainly the umbrella atoll out there. All these islands are probably going to be in other parts of the world. So if people come here, the storm surrounds this place. Yes, I did. I want to go a little deeper in a couple spots here. I want to put a little something in here. A little depth. Squiggles of depth and things here. Little spots, little rivulets and channels. Let's give this a little bit of a brush. Literally a little bit of a brush with this. Oh, there, we kind of got that turquoise sort of confined to that island, which is pretty cool. The writing got deep today. Oh boy. Yeah. It did, and how. And how. I was telling one of my guys today, oh, did it go away? No, it's still there. It's got 3 strands. There was a spider on my webcam for work. It's a little square or rectangular webcam that sits on top of the monitor. And from the top corner, there's a little spider. He's about this big. He's just walking along it, little short little legs, and he goes boop, down a little strand, and he made a strand from the top corner of it down to the top of my monitor. And as I watched and I was on the call, he walked back up and he made another strand. And I was like, geez, I don't want to mess him up because I want him to kill bugs, but really on my webcam? Why? And I let him go, and he now has 3 strands, but I haven't seen him for a while, so maybe he gave it up. I don't know. Yeah, maybe he just was like, this guy's too loud. I don't want to live here. Sorry, I'm thinking of something quickly for this. Find those stilts and go away. Yes. Hey, have you guys ever walked on stilts? I walked on them a few times as a kid. We made our own out of barnwood and stuff, you know, splinters galore. It was fun. But it was a dangerous proposition because we only had like roofing nails and they didn't go through the wood very well, so a little dangerous. Then much later, when I was older, I used drywall stilts. I couldn't remember what they were called. Those were freaky. I don't have the balance to walk on my own 2 feet. You think I can handle stilts? Okay, maybe not. Let's be honest, maybe not. You can barely walk flat-footed. All right. So far, the girls are out. Yeah, use makeshift stilts, but never safe. Yeah, they're not the safest things in the world. Not the safest. They were fun. It was cool being up high. I watched a video the other day of people in a tribe, I think on the Amazon, because they have so many snakes and poisonous things on the ground that they walk on stilts from like a young age, getting through everything. Boy, were they good at it. Oh my gosh. It was impressive. I was impressed, I will tell you. All right. So here's what I'm thinking I'm going to do here. This is going to be crazy. It's going to be drastic. It's going to be nutty. I'm moving all this stuff off over to the side here. Let's just get all this stuff out of the way. We can leave. We might leave. I don't want to leave that island, though. I don't want to leave that island there. We're going to make a new polygon here. Oops. Wait, what is it? What's it yelling about? Oh, okay. It's just my machine being dorky. All right, we're going to go to there, 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 there. Oops. Yeah, well, we'll see if it grabs it. We're gonna move all this stuff. Oh, it grabbed most of that island. That's funny. Oh no, did it? Invalid selection. Okay, that's fine. I'm not selecting shapes. Did it leave that? I wonder if it left that. I don't know what it did there. All right, let's go back out of it. Oh, good, it got rid of it. I don't know what it was doing there. It was doing something weird. All right, let's get back in here and grab this thing properly. Okay. Down here, we're going to go through here. It's good to know that it actually literally cuts off the polygons where you had put them. Oh, it deleted all the other islands. Well, that's fantastic. So let's undo deleting those islands. Why did it? Let me do something once here. We're gonna save this, and we're going to save this as I was going to save them, but what we're going to do is we are going to open up just the atoll by itself, and we're going to move all these, or we're going to grab all these things. We're just going to delete them. Because we have them in the other map now. Delete. Delete. Can I not delete? All right. Weird. I mean, I could just paint them out, but let's see how big of an eraser I can get. All right. Yeah, let's just delete some of them. It's just easier to do this. I was going to move them and everything, but let's just delete them. We'll keep that little pile there because we might need it. I'm going to keep stuff is going to become tiny little bits of island. There. So now they're just little shrimpy bits. Shrimpy bits. This down. And then we're going to move this a little close. I don't want to leave it a little closer, do I? No, I don't. I don't want it coming off this end now. Let's grab that and move it off the other end. Here. Let's see if we can rotate, copy, paste, mirror, fill. Okay. Can I not rotate by a rotate option? Okay. Mirror. Well, let's mirror it once. Mirror should work, right? Yeah, that'll work. Boom. We got it mirrored. All right, let's grab those symbols so they're not floating out in the ocean. Hate it when I can't. There we go. When it stops letting me zoom in. All right, there we go. And we'll put them there. This guy down here. We're going to move those guys up a little, put him right in front. And we're going to actually delete that one little hill. We're moving them down the spine of the island here a little bit. There we go. This guy down, put that guy there, put this guy down. Make it feel more like a spine. Go. You missed the new god! Well, I did make an AI picture of it, Mr. Moonskull. So here, I will go over the new god. I'm working on the Umbral Atoll at the moment, but I will go over the new god with you. Though you've already heard it, I will go through it again. So, I had some questions for you, and you can tell me in this if you're like, that doesn't make any sense. So, 3 of Grix's greatest disciples, monstrous scions of this, of his misguided creative efforts, were blessed with the gift of divinity, but also cursed by the greater gods of the pantheon for the duplicitous methods they and their sponsor used to help him subvert the trials of apotheosis. Using his divine abilities to distract and cloud the mind of Incardini, the scion of Mount Cerise, which is that elemental that is the mountain, is the chamber and all the parts, and the physical and spiritual manifestation of the cradle, the fountainhead of godhood. He used his powers to deceive her, and he allowed his followers to bypass the portions of the trials which he knew they could not otherwise survive. As a result, all 3 arrived at the cradle of the gods at the same time, intact, none of them having experienced the spiritual cleansing and shriving fires that are the death of most seekers of apotheosis. Orin, outraged, decreed that the 3 should be destroyed. Vulcan agreed. Oriel pitied the children of Grix and abstained. Arendor felt that while he believed they had somehow cheated, that they had indeed set foot in the cradle and might well deserve the prize. Davila argued on behalf of Grix's scions, because she's a pick-me girl who wants Grix to pick her, urging the 4 to look at it in terms of the laws as written, not in terms of their own prejudices. The other gods and goddesses argued for a length of time before Orin made the pronouncement that the trio indeed would be granted apotheosis, but that since they arrived together and seemed to be so keenly of one mind, since he saw through the deception, that they should forever also be of one body. Before protests could take root, they were granted the gift they had cheated to win, though not in the way they had imagined. Standing before the greater gods was now a 3-headed bestial form, anger and betrayal in 3 sets of eyes, fear in the heart, or the one heart they shared. Immortality lay before them in this powerful singular form that was now guided by 3 diverse sets of thoughts, 3 competing wills, and 3 voracious mouths. Enraged, Grix fled, leaving the sight of what he saw as a mockery of his power, leaving his transformed scion to its new existence. And so Ukgalu, the Insatiable, was born, who would become known as the Lord of Reavers during the ensuing God-Killer War, then forced into exile to his own lacunae in the aftermath, always hungering and driving his people to expand, plunder, and test the will of the beloved of the other gods. One head hungers for flesh and death, one for revenge, and one for plunder and theft. So I did some AI versions, and this was the most recent one that I came up with. He still needs some work, and we'll need to do some art for him, but that's him. And one of the heads does look like a bat, because I told it I wanted large ears. So we'd have to get a real version that, one of them is supposed to look a more hyena-ish, one's supposed to look a more goblinoid with the big eyes, but he's got this girdle and this ever-burning sword that Xerath gave him. And I'll go over those in a second, because they weren't very nice gifts, but they also were kind of for their benefit. So Vulcan gifted him the audacious girdle, gifted to Ukgalu as he was born. The girdle was made by Vulcan as a bulwark to help protect the young god from himself. Knowing that the 3 heads would war, it makes them unable to harm one another and maintain balance at the cost of a voracious and unending appetite. So he's forever hunger. He's forever hungry. He's forever insatiable, forever seeking revenge. But at least he can't, the heads can't hurt one another. And he has the Wrath Blade, which was forged by Zereth himself. This blade is wreathed in an unquenchable fire and can hew through most mortal constructs. But it is also unbearably hot and constantly burns the hand that wields it. Indeed, it has melded itself to his godly flesh and can never be dropped. And so the other thing I mentioned was that shrines. His shrines tend to be only set up by shamans and warlords of the goblinoid tribes. Primitive affairs, often in the semblance of an altar or 3 offering bowls surrounded by flames of one sort or another. Offerings of riches, flesh, and tokens of revenge are generally separated on the altars as they each feed a different aspect of the ravenous god. These edifices aren't tolerated in the more civilized regions of the Godlands, but can be found near goblin, bugbear, and gnoll camps as they raid and campaign. One of the oldest permanent shrines to Ukgalu is in the mountains above Seabreak Haven, on the site of the camp where the original goblin scion was born. His name has been forgotten, but the goblins all along the coast still leave the misshapen god offerings to win his favor. You hate how the sign out button is right underneath the Switch account button? Oh dear. So I did some other versions of the art too. I did one version. This is kind of a cool monster. We should think about this, Rudai, but it has nothing to do with him because it made it with 3 bat heads. But this guy was kind of cool looking and scary. Just the 3 bat head monster guy. He was kind of cool. Whoops, let me put it back up. I did another AI version and got this. I got a, where is he here? I got a stumpy leg version of that guy. And then I said to make him taller. And that's how we got the tall version. And then I told it to make him have digitigrade legs. And it started to work it out, but it didn't quite do it. But I like the colors better. So I thought that was kind of neat. And the other version, this is the Beardo version. I asked it again for the digitigrade legs. And this is before I made a muscular version of it. And the muscular one I don't have saved. He got little legs. He's very muscular and very cool and scary, but he's got little legs. Which is kind of cool. He looks misshapen that way. And I like the girdle on him. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, there's some varieties. So when we get the artist to do it, we'll have some resources. Yeah. It's oops, sorry, that's wrong. Ignore that. I with my ability to mistype. Galu. He is Galu, the, where is it here? The Insatiable. Also the Lord of Reavers. So let's put him, I could have just copy and paste. Blade and Soul. There's a 3-headed werewolf-looking monster named Vulberus. Vulberus sounds like a Pokemon. I'm just saying. So before the trial, this was 3 different beings. There was 3 scions of Grix, and either they were 3 of the his scions, his heroes, 3 of his chosen warriors, 3 of his chosen heroes that exemplified things that he liked. One, like I said, one of them hungers for flesh and death, one is for revenge, and one for plunder and theft. And when the gods put them all together, suddenly these 3 heads are all competing to control the one body. And the girdle that Vulcan gave him stopped them from killing each other, but also made their hunger unending. And the blade that Vulcan, or that Zerath gave him, can hew through most mortal constructs. Can't destroy his god stuff because, you know, you didn't want to give him a weapon that would allow him to, you know, fight against Xerath or anyone else. He's not that cool. He's a terror when he, you know, would be faced by mortals, but it also has melded itself to his flesh so he can never drop it, and it's unendingly just burning him slowly. So yeah, but also I didn't put in here yet that the other gods kind of gifted him things. So Davila, you know, through her speech and everything she did, she gifted him with the desire, a greater desire for revenge and cunning. Some of the other gods gave him other things, but none of them were as two or double-edged as the two main gods there. Orin didn't give him anything except, well, allowed him to be made into a god instead of being destroyed. So yeah, that's where I was at. I wrote all that stuff up, and then I was like, you know, my head is killing me. I'm gonna go play around with the Umbrella Atoll, and I have a bunch of water I have to delete out here now because I had all the archipelagos out here. So I could go ahead and do that, I guess. I figured while I'm winding stuff down here for the end of the stream, I can think about more stuff for the gods, because I know there are the other gods too that we talked about. Size. Why is this not removing the water? Ah, this is my deleter. This is my delete button. So we can make this a lot larger. I have another version of this map with the whole archipelago in it anyway, so we'll just add parts out here. We'll just make it fancy. Just go back out here and add the little vignette for the edge of the map. And then we can add the, however I'm going to do the storm. I'm trying to figure that out. I think maybe we're just going to leave it as it is, and when the artist does a version of this map, they'll do something with the storm. We'll let them figure it out. That's future artist problem, not my problem. But I have to put the dead breaks around here, and that's the one thing I'm going to try and rough in here, is it's supposed to be surrounded by the rocks, the basalt pillars everywhere. And that's going to be fun. So the deeper ocean is out here. This is the hint at the storm and everything out here. We're supposed to be making it seem dark and forbidding at the edge of this. Just to give the hint to the whoever arts this up in the future. I'll just keep blending, and we're blending. We're blending if you've ever watched Big Bang Theory. We'll get some of this blended in. And then we'll blend this stuff and make it large. Just soften the edges of everything, right? That's what we do. Because this is therapeutically making my head feel better. I don't know why. It's good. I should remember this for next time I get a migraine. Painting things in here, it feels good. It feels nice. Smooth those edges out a little bit. There we go. So yeah, and the other thing I asked people to come up with are other thoughts. If they think, hey, you know, one other thing you could do with the shrines or this or that is this, or how could he have, you know, been treated? Because right now I have him kind of like, he was dropped by Grix as soon as Grix was like, hey, I'm not getting my 3 allies. They've made a mockery of everything. And he just left and dropped him, you know, leaving his new creation or his new scion with the people here. And then the people gave him gifts, which were helpful, but also sort of painful and hurtful. So he probably doesn't like any of them, but he's driven to prove himself and his followers against everyone. So they're just relentlessly plundering and doing what they can. I asked people to come up with thoughts and put them in the chat and also in the comments afterwards, because that would be kind of cool. I wonder. There's really no there's no mountains. I don't see any mountains or spikes. Reefs? No. I might have to do this with just, who knows? Yeah, there's nothing in the default stuff they have in here. I don't see anything I could just really use easily. That's fine. Yeah, we'll just use color for the dead breaks. That's fine. We'll figure it out. I like the idea of him sort of being pitied by Oriel. So I was kind of hoping that maybe that we can make up a little story that after the God Killer War, when the gods are like locking Grix away and basically anyone who sided with him is, thrown to the edges of the world, and this god was probably like, they're probably like, we are so done with this creature, that perhaps Davila again came back in and tried to persuade them, and Oriel was the deciding voice that said, nope, we need balance and all sort of things, and there's nothing to say that there's no reason to not have a counter to love and joy and peace and everything that she stands for, and beauty. And she took pity on the creature for being all the, the antithesis of her, and convinced the gods to actually isolate him in a lacunae like they were willingly going to. So sort of a soft prison for him. So he could continue to do what he's doing, but also not be rampaging around the world. And I think that could be fun. I always need to sleep in a dark room for hours before it goes away. Yeah, I've had 3 cups of coffee today, a can of Coke. I have another one here, which I haven't started, and that thing of tea. So I am over caffeinated right now. I'm just saying. Yeah. Over caffeinate. It's probably not wise, but I don't have a heart condition, so I'm set. Right. I'm set. If I go down in here into this blue-gray, trying to think if I can get somewhat of a feel for the reefs and things that would go around in here. Just rough colors, rough ideas and shapes. Because it's supposed to be a hint of this stuff because it's all under the water. But it is based off of geological activity and whatnot. Because I'm wondering if I can put, because it's supposed to be kind of a maze of this stuff. I'm just putting a hint under the water here. I know I only have a couple minutes left here. But I think that could be fun. By the way, is everybody going to go, make sure you're going to go check out, is it season of, what is it called? Ghosts. My gosh, my brain just shut down again. The stream that's happening this evening. What is it called? Is it Season of Ghosts? Oh my gosh. My brain. Well, you guys will correct me. It's going to be happening on the channel. I was right. Season of Ghosts. I just didn't think I was right. Thank you. Thank you very much. In an hour. Nice. Oh boy, it's almost time for me to go here. Let me do one quick thing. I want to try something quickly. If I go into mountains here and I use this thing, they are not taking the watercolor. I'm trying to see if there's a way I can do something. All right, I put this here. Where does it put that? It puts it on layer management on. We're going to put it on. We're going to put it on layer 5 once. I want to see what happens here. Nope. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't let me put them under the water. Okay, that's fine. Good to know. I was just trying to find out if there's some way I could put, like, symbols out in the water or something, but I can't. That's fine. That's fine. I was going to use these kind of things, like the clouds and stuff, to make it look like there was misty stuff here. It just, but I can't. The problem is I can't. Yeah, I can't make them opaque or not opaque. They just basically go blurp. So I can't do anything with them. So, like I said, we'll let the actual artist do that. The real artist, you know, not the me. All right, let me grab one last thing before I go here. I need to go to my overlay, need to go to this. We're going to move this over here. And we've got the umbrella atoll. Okay. All right, there's the basic change. Boom. Cool. All right, well, I'm basically out of here. Thank you all for coming on by my migraine-filled foray into Legend Seeker lore, where we talked about Galu, the Insatiable. Worked on some of his lore, some of the background, the bits and pieces, and also on working on the map of the Umbral Atoll, because it tickled my fancy and made me less headachy. So I'm gonna get out of here. Leave a like, leave a comment, give me some thoughts on the three-headed god, the insatiable god of the goblinoid races, and let me know. And give us some feedback. We love it. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. You guys have a great night. Don't do anything too crazy. Just stay on, you know, this side of the crazy line. You can go up to the crazy line. Don't cross it. I'll talk to you later. I will see you guys tomorrow night on Wednesday After Dark. Bye.